Welcome back to EFD for this week's edition of Euro Transfer Talk. There's a lot to pack into this one, so let's get straight into it. One of the biggest stories to emerge over the last 7 days was that Manchester United had decided to go with Erik Ten Hag as their next manager, with the Dutchman expected to transform the club into title challengers once more. But whilst that is the understanding, as yet nothing has been signed, meaning that Ten Hag can still change his mind by staying at Ajax, or even choose to manage elsewhere in the 2022-23 season. And that is exactly what the Telegraph are reporting, as a surprise side is planning to enter the race for the 52-year-old. RB Leipzig are apparently looking to take advantage in the delay in negotiations between Ten Hag and United, a delay that is also irritating the coach's current club. Ajax, as we are aware, will not stand in his way, but fear the protracted talks and lack of any announcement could impact their Eredivisie title hopes, with the club just 4 points ahead of PSV with 5 games remaining. Of course, it will be a surprise if the Bundesliga side beat Man United to the former FC Utrecht boss, although it is believed Red Bull's admiration of Ten Hag extends back to before them hiring Domenico Tedesco as Jesse Marsch's replacement last December. From United's perspective, there are suspicions that this interest is merely being used by Ten Hag's camp for leverage in talks, though it would of course be a further embarrassment if they lost their first choice to a seemingly lesser side. And it must be said, it would be somewhat surprising if Leipzig ditched Tedesco so soon, considering the turnaround the former Schalke manager has overseen at the Red Bull Arena. The 36-year-old has lost just twice in 20 matches in charge, rising from 11th to 4th in the Bundesliga as well as reaching the quarter-finals of the Europa League. But we're sure Die Roten Bullen fans wouldn't complain at all at an upgraded manager. Back to United though, and there are said to be differences between Ten Hag and the club in terms of responsibilities. Ten Hag wants a significant say in transfers, albeit not total control, and to be actually given time to rebuild the squad and be given greater clarity as to what Rangnick's role next season will be. We doubt Leipzig will really pull off this hijacking, but with such a low compensation package at £1.7 million and the manager eager to take the reins at Old Trafford, United should get it done sooner rather than later. As you are well aware, there is a lot of uncertainty at Chelsea at the moment. Whilst it remains unknown whether they will be legally allowed to sell players this summer, a number of top European clubs are ready to make a move. One of the players that may be eyeing up a departure from Stamford Bridge is Romelu Lukaku, who so far has had a dismal time on his return to the club. Since his £97.5 million move from Inter Milan last summer, the 28-year-old has scored just 5 goals in the Premier League and 12 in all competitions. This means he's on track for his worst campaign in front of goal since 2011-12, which was his first in West London, having made a £10 million switch from Anderlecht as an 18-year-old. And whilst there has been suggestions that the Nerazzurri could be interested in bringing Romelu Lukaku back to San Siro, it's another club being linked with the Belgium today. That side is PSG, who are still exploring their options, should Kylian Mbappe, long linked with Real Madrid, finally leave the Parc des Princes this summer. Lukaku though has not started a game for Thomas Tuchel since February and has been out of favour ever since that interview he conducted with Sky Sports Italia, where he expressed regret at leaving Italy. Le Parisien are interested in Lukaku on a temporary basis, and according to French outlet Boot, PSG sporting director Leonardo has already had conversations with the player's agent, a certain Mino Raiola, about a potential summer move. However, if the recent news about Mbappe warming to the idea of staying in Paris is true, then the French giants will undoubtedly drop their interest in the Chelsea outcast. We want to hear from you though. If Mbappe does leave PSG, is Lukaku the best player they can get, or should they target someone else? Let us know down in the comments. Lukaku's not the only Chelsea player being linked with a move away, as Jorginho's future could also lie at somewhere other than Stamford Bridge next season. It's Juventus who are interested in the midfielder, with Max Allegri looking to overhaul his squad following an underwhelming Serie A season that leaves them languishing in 4th spot, although with 6 games left, they're only 6 points behind the leaders AC Milan. The Brazilian-born midfielder has previously been linked with a return to his adopted nation of Italy, having originally been signed for Chelsea back in 2018, joining from Napoli in the same summer. Maurizio Sarri also swapped Naples for London. When Sarri was appointed as Juventus manager the following year, Jorginho was widely tipped again to follow the manager to Turin. Now, with his contract expiring in little over a year and having previously expressed a desire to return to Italy, the 30-year-old is now a prime target for Allegri. Circumstances permitting, however, Thomas Tuchel is keen to extend his star midfielder's contract, and his determination to do so may prevent Jorginho leaving this summer. This of course leaves a risk that he could exit next summer as a free agent, with the club leaving things a little too late, echoing the situation Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger found themselves in this campaign, with both defenders expected to move on to pastures new ahead of the new season. As it stands though, Jorginho has made no indication as yet that he wants to leave Chelsea either this summer or at the end of his current deal. But Chelsea fans, do you think you can keep hold of him? As ever, answers down below please. To Spain, to Real Madrid, and once again to Eden Hazard. There's no point dwelling on his current predicament at the Bernabeu. You all know by now that since his big money move from Chelsea in 2019, he's been dogged with injury after injury, limiting his time on the pitch and slowly seeing him fall down the pecking order. Los Blancos are keen to shift the 31-year-old, but it's proving hard to do so with his deal running until 2024. This summer could be different though, as a number of clubs are reported to be interested in the Belgian international. One of those is Arsenal, who according to Foot Mercato held talks with Hazard's representatives over a loan move with an option to buy. However, a new front runner has arrived and it could potentially tug on the heartstrings of Eden Hazard. According to Cadernassa, Borussia Dortmund have entered the race for Real's forgotten man and believe they could have an advantage thanks to currently having younger brother Thorgan Hazard on the books. Despite having 3 younger brothers all in the game and 2 of those contracted to Chelsea at the same time Eden was tearing up the Premier League, his only experience of playing alongside one is Thorgan at international level. The pair have featured together in 19 games for Belgium, with Eden even setting up 29-year-old Thorgan for 1 goal in a 4-1 Euro 2020 qualifying victory over Russia. Florentino Perez is said to have a good relationship with Chiefs at Dortmund and also hopes that it could help his side in the pursuit of Erling Haaland in the coming months. However, Hazard had previously turned down a switch to Bayern Munich before joining Real Madrid as he didn't want to outshine his brother, who has impressed in the Bundesliga since leaving Chelsea for Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2015. Thorgan joined Dortmund in 2019 for €25 million, and whilst he starred on the pitch, the club will now hope he can play a different role off it to try and convince his brother to make the switch. That's easier said than done though, with Arsenal still interested, and Serie A leaders AC Milan also wanting a piece of the 2014-15 Premier League Player of the Year. But what do you think? Will Thorgan be able to convince his brother to move to Germany instead of moving elsewhere this summer? Let us know in the comments. We end this Euro transfer talk with a slightly less known player in Gleason Bremer, who stars as a centre-back for Serie A side Torino. 25 years old, the Brazilian moved to Europe from Atletico Mineiro for just €6 million in 2018, and 4 years on, Il Toro looks set to more than quadruple that investment. Valued at €25 million by his employers, Bremer has been linked with a move to both Liverpool and Inter Milan, and has put in consistently strong defensive performances that belie Torino's current 11th place standing in Serie A. No side outside the top 4 has conceded less than their 30 goals to date this campaign, and as it happens, the 2 games that Bremer hasn't started have both resulted in losses for even Juric's side. Unfortunately for Torino fans, the club appear resigned to losing Bremer, who has topped a century of appearances for Juventus' slightly quieter neighbours. Inter are said to have held talks with the player's agents and are currently the front runners for his signature. If he can successfully transfer his performances from Piedmont to Lombardy, then the Nerazzurri are set in defence for the foreseeable future. So that's it for Euro transfer talk for another week. Which of these stories are total nonsense? Which of these can you get behind? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, make sure you're subscribed to Euro Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss another video. We'll see you next time.